Hi, this is Garibay, and today I'm going to be talking about Fortnite, and I'm also going to be talking about Dungeons and Dragons. Now, I've already talked on this topic before, and I'm going to continue talking about it here, right? But I kind of want to give a warning. So whenever I do my videos, I think about a topic, and then I have 2 or 3 or maybe a half a dozen points to make. And when I'm talking on a subject, I've thought this through, and I have some distinct ideas. That's not the case with this video, right? I'm really kind of talking out loud and talking through what I'm seeing with Fortnite, because I think Fortnite is a major political, cultural, social occurrence. It's an event, and I think we need to learn what we can from it, okay? But my point is, this isn't as collected as or as cohesive as most of my content, so feel free to pull the ripcord on this one. You know, this is just me kind of thinking out loud, right? And that's okay. You guys never have to feel like you have to watch every one of my videos. I always label my videos so that, like, if you're not into movies, you don't have to watch that one. If you're not into Dungeons and Dragons, you don't have to watch that one. You know, that. So I try to be clear about what in my titles, what my videos are going to be. And if you need, you know, and if you're pulling the ripcord on this one, here's some great people to go watch. Absolute Tabletop, really fantastic content on YouTube, TRPG content, and also Complex Games Apologist. Those are guys who are really solid TRPG commentators online. Really fantastic content. With that said, let me jump into it. Okay, so I am really fascinated with what's happening with Fortnite. So my experience with Fortnite is my junior high son plays Fortnite. Now we're very blessed. We you know, I understand that video games can be a real problem for kids, especially if they're not maintained, right? If they're not put at the right level of priority. So one of the reasons why my junior high son is able to play Fortnite and a fairly good amount of Fortnite is because he is crushing it academically. He really is, you know, really solid. A's, B's, mostly A's. Just really academically performs well. He has friends, and you know, and he's respectful to me and his mother, and to us, that earns the right to play whatever video games he wants that are appropriate for his age. And we took a look at Fortnite, and it was a super easy sell for him. He was able to say, hey, I'd like to load up this online game that I'll be playing with other people online, and you know, and I would like to play this. And we're like, how much is this going to cost us? And he's like, nothing. We already own a PlayStation 4. This is free, all right? And I was like, whoa, okay, all right, load it up, all right? And then we took a look, and everything in it seems totally appropriate for his age. Just, you know, good, clean fun, kind of a battle royale situation. The violence is very stylized. Nobody ever bleeds. There's no blood in the game. Very stylized, very cartoonish, right? You know, it's just like the Saturday morning cartoon with battle royale. It's cool, all right? And actually, so when our son plays Fortnite, he plays right in the middle of the living room on our large screen TV that everybody can see. And so one of the things that looks like in the Garibay household is, you know, I'll come home, I'll do whatever I need to. My wife will do whatever she needs to, and we have a computer over in the corner. I'll set up my laptop on like a TV dinner tray. My son will be on the same couch with me. He'll have the controller out. I'll be using my laptop. Maybe I'm listening to something on headphones. Maybe I'm just like typing and watching his Fortnite game. My wife will turn around every now and watch a little bit of his Fortnite game. Our daughters will be walking through the room. Maybe one of them takes a seat in the corner. You know, everybody's everywhere. Everybody has their own devices. We're all together, right? You know, and one of the rules in the Garibay household is absolutely 0 screens in your own bedroom, right? And that really helps limit the time that people spend in their own bedroom, or if they are in their bedroom, they're reading manga or they're reading a novel, right? Because there's absolutely no screens in any of those rooms, right? It's a really good structure for parenting. Highly recommended, right? So I've been watching a lot of Fortnite. I watched so much of it that I was like, you know, I want to try this. So I actually tried 2 games all by myself playing Fortnite. I came in 26th in one of my battle royales among, just me against the world. And then I came in 7th. Both times what I did was I parachuted in, I landed on a high mountain, and then I waited for somebody to come, and I was going to try to kill them with my pickaxe, because I landed on a mountain. There was really there were no weapons, right? I came in 26th. I came in 7th. 7th means I beat 93 people with that awesome strategy, that awesome Fortnite strategy. So I'm a Fortnite player, extremely limited experience, literally 2 games. And I know a lot about Fortnite because I've been reading about it like crazy, and I've been watching my son, right? So here's what I've learned from Fortnite, and here's how it links to Dungeons & Dragons. The number one lesson from Fortnite, and I believe Fortnite learned this from D&D, and now Fortnite's success is so hockey stick, so astounding, that everybody needs to look and see what Fortnite's doing to understand where the market's going, right? Where the market for games, and both Dungeons & Dragons and Fortnite are games, right? Here's the number one lesson. Lore does not matter. Lore does not matter. Lore does not matter. Lore does not matter. Okay, that is what I have learned from watching Fortnite. Now, I believe that the Fortnite designers either subconsciously or very consciously learned this lesson from Dungeons & Dragons, because Gary Gygax from the very beginning said lore does not matter. What lore is Dungeons & Dragons built on, right? What did Gary Gygax build? What is the lore of Dungeons & Dragons? Well, the real core lore, the lore from the beginning, is Tolkien, Lovecraft, Homer, right? Tolkien, Middle-earth. Lovecraft, Cthulhu. Homer, mythology, right? And Gary Gygax mixed all those elements in like gumbo. He was not respectful to Merp, right? He was not respectful to Cthulhu. He was not respectful to mythology. He's like, you're just an ingredient. I'm gonna throw you in. I'm gonna mix it up with a spoon, and I'm gonna cook it, right? And I don't really care about your hard edges or your elven languages or your tentacles. Like, I'm going to use whatever I want, right? And so he was extremely, I feel Gary Gygax was incredibly dismissive of lore. And I think there's actually really strong support for this if you look at the early words. Greyhawk, Mystara, Blackmoor. I know Blackmoor's brought out by Arneson. These things are a hot mess. They're just like, everything's mixed in. It's all just a gumbo, right? That is exactly what Fortnite is doing, okay? What are the themes in Fortnite? Military, right? Dance club. I'm not kidding. Those are 2 main themes in Fortnite. Dance club and military, right? And then also superheroes, and what else is a theme within Fortnite? Well, yeah, that's pretty much it. You have those post-apocalyptic, right? So post-apocalyptic, superhero, military, dance club. These have nothing to do with each other. They do not make any sense at all, and it's exactly the same thing as Tolkien, Lovecraft, and Homer, right? They're just mixed in. Lore does not matter. That is the biggest lesson that needs to be learned from Fortnite. So let me just give you some numbers real quick, and so if you think I'm talking about this without need, the numbers on Fortnite are astounding. In February, Fortnite had 3.4 million concurrent players. 3.4 million concurrent players. Last year, in 2017, Dungeons & Dragons had 8.6 million players the entire year. A 12-year period. They had their height was 8.6 million players, not concurrent, right? And by the way, all of these numbers are for Fortnite are essentially carefully crafted estimates from the industry monitors, okay? And I think they're fairly strong. The other thing is in March. By the way, that 3.4 million concurrent. That's a peak play period for Fortnite. In March of this year, Fortnite made $223 million, almost $250 million in 1 month. That is incredible. That is absolutely incredible, right? It's hard to even explain how powerful that is. It is just astounding, right? And so when you see that level of success, it's important to stop and say, what are these people doing that is so groundbreaking, so revolutionary? Now, I want to say the success of Fortnite is absolutely not unprecedented. It is completely precedented. WoW had a hockey stick spike like this. StarCraft had a hockey stick, success like this. There are lots of games that have had truly tremendous success in the video game industry, and fast success with lots of money. These numbers are pretty unprecedented. I don't think any other game has ever done these type of numbers. These numbers are through the roof, right? And it is making everybody pay attention. And not just everybody in the video game world, right? It is one of the reasons why I'm talking about this is I was out and about the other day. I had a cup of coffee in my hand, and I was just walking through a space, and there were, like a lot of spaces have a television playing, right? So on this television, it was a finance group. They were talking about Bloomberg, right? This was a finance channel on the television. They should be talking about GE. They should be talking about the Dow. They should be talking about federal inflation rates. And they're talking about Fortnite on a finance channel because Fortnite is doing so well that is impacting the political, cultural, and society of America. It is astounding. Like its growth rate is amazing, is absolutely amazing. And I think there are lessons to be learned for Dungeons and Dragons, and Dungeons and Dragons, all of Dungeons and Dragons designers should be looking carefully at what's happening with Fortnite. We absolutely should not just copy them and think we're going to get the same success rates by doing the same thing Fortnite is. But we should look at them, analyze them, and take away, lessons. And one lesson I just think, if you it's so clear when you look at Fortnite that what are people playing Fortnite for? They are playing for competition, and it is a celebration of melee and ranged combat, right? Melee and ranged combat. What's Dungeons and Dragons, right? In many ways, it's a competition. That competition happens in a dungeon, right? In Fortnite, that competition happens in a drop site, right? And in many ways, I really feel Dungeons and Dragons is an absolute celebration of melee and ranged combat. They have incredible overlap. Their Venn diagrams are very, very strong, right? There is a lot of overlap on these things. So, I think that there's a lot of overlap and a lot of there's the same content on both of these games. And also, another thing I think is really, really important is they are very, very much going after the same player base, right? I think you could easily convert the vast majority of Dungeons and Dragons over to Fortnite. You could absolutely easily convert the vast majority of players of Fortnite right over to Dungeons and Dragons. They have many of the same skill sets. They have many of the same interests, and at the base level, I think both of them are a celebration of melee and ranged combat, right? That's what people are playing for, right? And so when you see this, you really realize, okay, Dungeons & Dragons has had incredible success over 43 years, right? What does that mean? What do we do with that, right? Well, one of the things is just acknowledging that lore was never important. Lore was never the heart of the game. It was always competition, a celebration of melee and ranged combat. And the other thing is, once you know that, right, you can use that as a wall to push off of. You can push against that. It's totally okay to push against that and say, I don't want that to be what my game is about, right? And to go in a completely different direction. But I think it's really important that it's acknowledged, right? So I think, that's pretty much what I wanted to talk about today. I really, just a solidification of this lesson that lore absolutely does not matter, and the success of Dungeons and Dragons has absolutely proven this, and the success of Fortnite has put a stamp on it. Take care.